Okay, here's the crew. We're moored in Solta. This is our second last night, and you can see in the background we have the boats in the marina and ferries, gas docks. But I wanted to get everyone together since this is the second cruise charter that we've done with the group, and wanted to put a very quick video together to talk a little bit about the differences between Greece and Croatia for those that are thinking about doing either, and perhaps these guys can give a few comments and recommendations about what they liked, what they didn't like, and what they recommend for the types of visitors to either country. So let's start by just saying that we're trying to do as close a comparison as possible. We even have in both cases a Lagoon 45 versus a 46, or 450 versus a 46, and we also have the same time period, 2 weeks in both countries, sailing and visiting different islands, both in June, as close to the beginning of June as possible. And also, after last year's format request, we also decided to have a few longer stayovers in certain islands just to make things a little bit less rushed. So I wanted to get you guys to make some comments. First of all, let's get your impressions about Greece versus Croatia. Well, let's talk about Croatia first. What do you guys think of this trip? Devin, you want to start with you?
Well, I think what I really enjoyed was the change in the itinerary. So Croatia, a lot of the islands here are closer together, so your sailing days aren't quite as long, and the weather seems to be nicer. The winds are easier to sail in. Many of the days there was light winds to no winds at all, actually. So I guess if you're a hardcore sailor, it might not be the ideal destination for you. But if you're But if you like visiting islands and exploring medieval-like towns, it's quite nice.
Yeah, and Stephanie, Michael?
Yeah, I think the islands being closer together helps with the travel destination between them. I guess the weather worked out for us. It wasn't as windy or as wavy as last year in Greece, so it's really weather dependent. But I think it's nice.
Yeah,
it's a bit closer and you get more time to explore on land as well.
Stephanie?
Yeah, so I think if you like to spend time shopping or exploring towns, Greece was better for that because the smaller islands still had a lot of cute stores and things to do. But if you'd rather be underwater, I didn't see any dive shops really while we were going through Greece, but almost every island here had a dive center, so
yeah,
we didn't do it, but I'm sure it's nice down there. We've been seeing lots of sea breams and other things around the boat that we didn't see in Greece, and we made some friends feeding them peaches. They love peaches.
Yeah.
So the islands here are very quiet. There's only 1 to 2 restaurants, and the rest of the town is basically rental apartments, so there's not much to do if you walk around aside from the national park, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So if you're more of a city explorer, I think Greece was a little bit better for that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. Let's back up a bit and talk a little bit about the boat. We had a brand new Lagoon 46 in Greece, and now we have the predecessor, which is a Lagoon 450 flybridge. The Lagoon 46 basically replaced this model, and this boat is about 7 years old. So any comments about this particular boat? It had fewer creature comforts. Some of the things you like or dislike about this boat?
Well, I guess the main thing is when you're sailing an older boat, it's more worn in, and it's less likely for things to go wrong. As you may have seen in previous videos from Greece, things were breaking on the new boat because it hadn't been, I guess, tested yet.
Shaken down.
Yeah, the conditions were stronger in Greece, but here we haven't had really any issues with the boat, right? I don't think so. And like you said, it's missing some bells and whistles. No AC in the cabins, and it's been quite hot, so that's probably the biggest con for me.
Yeah. You guys have anything to add?
I think the arrangement on the boat in Greece was slightly better for the flybridge. There
Yeah.
was just more shaded area for passengers in the back. It was nice while under sail. You weren't just in the sun all the time. There's less shaded areas on this.
Yeah.
Boat, and
I think the Bimini was definitely bigger on
was
the new
definitely
boat.
bigger.
Yeah.
I think it's also a difference because right now Europe is having heat wave,
Yeah.
and then when we were in Greece, it's just a regular summer weather. So Croatia definitely feels hotter this time around, but it's also weather dependent.
Yeah. Could use that air conditioning. Steph?
I think you guys covered most of it. It's just a matter of comfort, I think, since I'm not a sailor and sailing either
Well-
of these vessels. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe not related to the boat, but the marinas. I think if you're a more self-sufficient sailing crew, Greece is a better destination for you. And if it's your first time sailing, or if you like, I guess, better marinas, this is the place. The marinas here are, there's more of them and they're nicer than they were in Greece, I'd say. And they have a lot more amenities. But they are more expensive, considerably more expensive.
Yeah.
I think the marinas in Croatia you have to show up earlier, like early afternoon. I think in Greece when we went to a marina, it didn't matter what time of the day we show up, it was less busy and there was always space. So I
Yeah.
think overall Croatia feels busier with people on water sailing and going around the islands. But I think the islands in Greece felt busier just because of large cruise ships and people flying onto the islands and like staying on land instead of hopping on the boat. So
So let's talk about Croatian sort of food and drink. What did you like and what did you perhaps didn't like about the food here in Croatia?
I think the food was fairly similar. Island hopping, both of them had the classic like grilled fish, grilled squid, grilled octopus situations. They're both really tasty. I mean, we've been eating really well on this trip. I think the biggest difference is the cost. Like, I felt like in Greece you're getting a very similar dish for like a third of the price every
Yeah.
night.
Guys, I know there's some dishes that you were craving for in Greece that you couldn't get here. Perhaps it's the same vice versa, but
I think also the restaurants in Greece, there was a bigger variety of options for food. I noticed like in the little towns we visited, in the one or maybe two restaurants they have, they all serve like almost the same items. So you find yourself like repeating a lot of food, which isn't bad because it's tasty, but like there's a better selection and variety in Greece.
I mean, I think you find yourself avoiding ordering salads just because they're so expensive here in Croatia as opposed to when we were in Greece. It was a must-have at every meal, right?
Greek salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in Greece there's more restaurants, so it can fit any price range that you might be into, from some cheap grab kind of gyros and
Almost like
go
fast
and
food.
eat it some
Yeah.
really good fast food and eat it kind of on the beach, or to like a very high-end sit-down restaurant. I think that Croatia just has a sit-down restaurants and it doesn't have like a quick local bite. It's all like a sit-down dinner and spend a couple hours there.
And we've also been forced into a lot of restaurants because instead of paying the mooring fee, they are like, oh, we'll waive it if you eat at our restaurant, which is usually quite expensive. Restaurant.
Yeah, and in some cases, there's the only choice we had in the whole harbor or area. And what about the drink? You sampled some local beers. I don't know if you had cocktails, but any difference or any recommendations that you guys have?
I think I prefer Mamos to Karlovac.
Oh, that Greek beer, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man, Croatians are just
Jusko is pretty good.
yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. And as far as you mentioned things to do and scenery, what are your comments about? I mean, they're vastly different. I think Greece being sort of very ancient, Greek ruins that we are visiting there, and here they're shall we say, a little bit more modern in terms of all the fortresses and castles that we went to. What are your comments on that?
I think the difference is also that in Greece we started in Athens and then spent all of our time on the islands around Greece. But here we have visited the islands, but also multiple destinations on the mainland, like Split and Dubrovnik. So of course those cities would be easier and larger. Dubrovnik and Split are really nice medieval cities, but I think there's just something to be said about the Greek islands, and they felt really deserted, and I felt like we were exploring them almost by ourselves. I think the Game of Thrones really made Dubrovnik famous, and we were just glad that all the cruise ships have left when we arrived on Monday. So look at the cruise ship schedule. So we arrive and thousands of people just leave in the morning, and I think just a different exploration. On one of the islands we also rented a car, and it's nice to be able to kind of go between the beaches and explore a bit more than what you can see from the water.
Yeah. Well, comment on the beaches. They're quite a bit different here than the ones in Greece. What would you say pros and cons about beaches here?
Well, I think we got lucky in Greece that we found a couple of like really nice beach chairs with umbrella situations that were free. We didn't see any of that in Croatia. They were all paid. I don't remember. Do you remember if it was more shaded in Greece, like when you go to the beach? Because here it's just you get blasted with the sun or nothing.
I mean, yeah, I think there's a bit more shade there.
Yeah.
And there was just more beaches to choose from, I think. So if we found a beach that didn't have shade, well, there was going to be one 5 minutes down the road that we could set up shop.
The water here has been significantly warmer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it's been, I would say, nicer swimming in that regard, that you're just in the water for longer and you can just stay there for as long as you want.
Yeah, we can't speak on the diving because we didn't dive in either location, but for snorkeling, pretty much the same, I'd say. It's very comparable.
Yeah. Okay, good. And as far as when you looked at the national parks, I think that there were probably more to see in terms of parks here, wouldn't you say? Because you guys visited a few.
Did we visit any national parks in Greece?
I don't think you did.
I don't think there were national parks in Greece. But,
not in Greece, yeah.
But we did do our fair share of exploring in Greece, and maybe it seemed like we did more here because we had longer land days and shorter sailing days. So that could be why.
Okay.
But I would recommend anyone going to Nuyet to get the e-bikes and go through their national park. That was really beautiful with the 2 saltwater lakes and the nice beach.
That was one of the highlights of the trip for sure.
Yeah. Any other highlights for this trip?
We did a whole lap of the city wall in Dubrovnik. Even though it was smoking hot, I would still recommend it. It was so beautiful to see everything.
That was cool, eh?
Yeah.
It's like a Great Wall of China, except we're in Dubrovnik. Yeah. And just to wrap up, so how would you summarize both locations for the types of people that would probably want to visit either?
Visit them both and decide for yourself which one you prefer.
That's a good statement.
Well, I think if you're a novice sailor or you're just starting out, Croatia's probably your best bet, just because of the conditions at this time of year, it seems, and the closeness of the islands. It seems like it would be more enjoyable, and the marinas are more likely to lend you a hand, it seems, here. Some of the moorings in Greece we had to basically do on our own with no harbor master.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, thanks for your comments, guys. I'm sure our viewers may have questions for you that we'll be able to answer, but certainly I think overall we all had a good time in Croatia, and we'll look forward to the next destination and compare that.
All right.
Okay, bye for now. Okay, this is Rachel and this is Reg. They're new to our crew this year, and why don't you introduce yourselves and let all the crew viewers out there know where you're from and how you know us and things like that.
Hi all. Well, I'm a former colleague of Monty's. Through our work we became friends, and
He was our eastern contact, and I come from the prairie, from Saskatoon. What can I say? This is our very first cruise on a catamaran. It was unbelievable. Split to Dubrovnik and back. What we saw was things that I had never imagined.
Yeah.
Each town has an old town in it. They all have their own history, their own architecture. The old town in Split was Roman. The one in Dubrovnik was just totally out of this world, and everything in between. It was all island sailing, so we haven't seen a lot of the mainland, but what we have seen, everything is pristine. You don't see a bit of garbage anywhere. The Croatian people are lovely to deal with, to speak to. They're friendly, they're helpful, and I just don't know what more anybody could ask for. It's been an experience, thanks to Monty and Alina. Something we had never planned on doing, but I'm really glad we did it.
Would you like to?
Absolutely. I'm super happy. It was a wonderful trip of a lifetime, and we've enjoyed every moment. Not as much sailing, perhaps, as Monty would have liked to do. We haven't had great luck with our wind direction or speed, but we've been motoring between ports and smoking hot this year, so that's been fun. But like Rich said, all of the places that we've stopped have been so interesting, each in their own unique way, and the water is crystal clear and refreshing. And this stop in particular, we're like 20 steps from the beach. It's fabulous, and it's just lovely. And we really have enjoyed the people and the history and the sights and the coastline and just the whole experience of sailing this part of the world. It's lovely.
So let me ask this of you both, since this is your very first time on a catamaran sailing yacht, and the question is, so what, if any, preconceptions or expectations did you guys have before coming on board versus how you feel about spending 2 weeks on a catamaran now, sort of as a format?
For my part, any catamaran experience I've ever had has always been on a tourist day trip catamaran. Totally different experience. You're in with a bunch of strangers, and it's a completely different boat. What was I expecting? I was expecting a rougher ride. I wasn't sure about what we would have for space. There's 7 of us on the boat, but we have never run out of space. It's been fantastic. It's comfortable. I can't think of a better way to travel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've been on catamarans for tourists. I've been on dive boats and liveaboards, and none of them have been as comfortable as this one. Each stateroom has its own bathroom, which is lovely, and we have lots of room and lots of storage, and it's been super great.
So if there's something you would say didn't meet your expectations or you disliked about being sort of on a boat like this, what would that be? I think, to be perfectly honest, you're not going to hurt my feelings.
That's a really tough question.
Yeah, the company.
No, the company we would definitely keep, for sure. I guess because it's a rental boat, it maybe doesn't have all the comforts of a privately owned boat. Like the padding on some of the seats leave a little to be desired, because it's well used. It's showing a little bit of wear that you probably wouldn't have on a private boat as well. But overall, it's really hard to criticize.
Mm-hmm.
The Wi-Fi sucks, but but other than that, I can't think of anything. It's been very comfortable, and if Monty could do something about the heat, that might be nice. But,
more heat or less heat.
It's been smoking hot, and it's been quite uncomfortable in places. And I think the other thing that's, for me, I'm a little bit mobility challenged, and so for me, sometimes the walk between the pier, the mooring point, and where we want to go has been a bit of a challenge just for me, but it's not as bad as I expected, and I had feared that it would be harder for me, but it's been actually pretty easy, and I've been very happy with how it's worked out.
Yeah, you've been a real trooper on this one. I've been very pleasantly surprised at how quickly you've been able to move about, not just the boat, but along the pier and everything, getting in and out of the dinghy without ending up in the water and things like that. Yeah. No, that's
Not
great.
over yet.
Yeah, not over yet. We got 2 more nights. So, anything that you could perhaps recommend to people about either the boat or Croatia?
Bring lots of cash.
Bring lots of
Yeah, no kidding.
Croatia. It is not an inexpensive
It was
country to
it was a
visit.
lot more expensive than I expected it to be. The restaurants and the food and the amenities over and above everything were quite a bit more than I was expecting.
Yes, it
But
was.
with all else and wherever else you're traveling, just bring a positive attitude.
It's just part of the thing, though, right?
It's part of life. It's an experience, part of the experience. You go to some places, you get what you paid for. So, all in all, it's been a great experience.
Great. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And more to come. Actually, we got our land segment
That's
for
right.
another 5 days. So we're going to trade a boat for a car. We'll see how that goes. Going up into the mountains. In fact, we're going all the way to Slovenia and Zagreb, which is the capital of Croatia. Okay, so thanks for coming, guys. And
Thanks for having us.
yes, you can say hi to all your friends and relatives now.
Hey, all.
Hey.
All right. So now that we're off the boat, just wanted to get your opinion on how you felt about this particular charter cruise in Croatia versus last year's format in Greece.
I really liked the Croatia cruise. I think it was different than Greece. Weather played a big part in how this experience was different than the Greece experience, but nevertheless, I very much enjoyed it. I think hopping from one island to another and having shorter distances, I did enjoy it. I think, when you ask for feedback, it really, depends on what, your focus is on, sailing more or experiencing the culture. But for me, I think, we did do some sailing, not a lot. And the culture, food, experience in Croatia, I think overall I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, it's going to rank high up there with our sailing trips.
So overall, for you, a very good experience from a sailing perspective, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And would you come back here again?
Totally,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Make sure you bring plenty of money with you. It's very expensive. That was one downside to the whole trip. It's very pricey.
So I'm going to make some final remarks about my opinion of Croatia versus Greece, and it's not really versus. I think, in general, I love both places. It's been quite an experience, but I would say I had more fun sailing in Greece than I did here in Croatia because the winds were stronger, more consistent, and I had more options in terms of which direction to go and which island to select in Greece if the winds weren't in our favor. Here we kind of got channeled through some of the islands and we basically had to take the sails down and beeline it. So, a bit of an easier experience. We never reefed here, and frankly I think we only got in 3 good days of sailing out of the 2 weeks, but like Alina says, it's all about the destination as well. So we had a good time there. And here comes our water. Drinks.